And right now we're in Studio B, Countdown to Vote 2016. I'm joined by Dr. Eric Hodges of USF Sarasota Manatee. He is an assistant professor and also the resident political scientist. Dr. Hodges, welcome.
Thanks, Grant. I appreciate it.
A lot of things going on in the presidential campaign. Yesterday there was a commander-in-chief forum, and veterans are, it's a huge voting block. And I know you're a vet, I'm a vet. But it seems like when we talk about veterans, it's always about the VA. But do veterans care about more issues than that?
I think veterans definitely do. I mean, one of the major issues I think that veterans struggle with sometimes with Secretary Clinton is the trust issue. You know, you look at a lot of the polls and you see that she's polling extremely low in credibility and trust. And frankly, I think a lot of veterans just don't trust her to make the decisions that are going to benefit veterans and the military.
What are their issues with Donald Trump? Certainly his lack of experience, I've heard, come up with some vets, even on the campaign trail.
Right. Well, there have been a couple issues with Mr. Trump regarding his support among veterans. One, of course, was the comments that he made about, you know, Senator McCain about not being a war hero.
Saying he knows more than the generals.
Right, saying the generals are a train wreck. Essentially, he made that comment last night, you know, on the forum, talking about how the generals had no idea of what was going on and how to defeat ISIS. You know, also insulting the family of the, you know, the Gold Star family.
I've also heard, though, Hillary Clinton's experience in the Secretary of State, the fact she has done public policy, that sits well with some vets. I know the trust issue is still a problem for some of them.
Well, I mean, the important thing to remember about veterans, Grant, is that they're not a monolithic group. You know, as we often talk about all these different groups, they're not all one and the same. Right. So there are some veterans. I think a lot of the older generation veterans do support Mr. Trump more. But a lot of the younger veterans are much more skeptical.
And a new poll came out that he has about an 18 or 19 point lead among vets. But is that just the tradition? Now, I know that in the military, active vets and vets, they have this, they tend to lean a little bit more to the right and Republicans, just traditionally. Is that what we're seeing here, no matter who is running?
Well, historically, you know, veterans have been supporters of the Republican Party because the Republican Party has been primarily the pro-military establishment. So there's just sort of that idea that, you know, if I support this particular candidate, they're going to support the military and end up taking care of the troops.
Dr. Hodges, we'll talk a lot more as we move forward to the election, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Grant. My pleasure.